Nibiru has been a very good hand trap ever since it existed and forced people to acknowledge it and also prepare for it. However, the more respected Nibiru actually is, the worse it becomes because it actually thrives off of people playing right into it. So in other words, it's good when people are greedy, but actually pretty bad when people are being conservative. It's that kind of card that when it resolves, it actually probably makes you the game, but at the same time, the real question is, will it resolve, and also will it resolve at the right timing? Unfortunately for Nibiru users, the upcoming format will be a circus for y'all. Playing Nibiru will be extremely awkward because finding the right timing isn't necessarily simple, and also it might not prove to be worthwhile. Today's video will explain to you every reason why Nibiru can be worth running or not worth running depending on the circumstances. So first things first, Nibiru is checkmate against greedy and suboptimal purely players. If they do not turbo out the continuous spell as well as the field spell and they start spamming a bunch of rank 1 monsters or link 2 monsters or whatever and they don't make Expurely Noir as early as possible, they will eat a gigantic Nibiru. And sometimes the purely hands can be really awkward, forcing you to actually rely on the Sylvan Princess Pride Excavate in order to get your 5th material for Expurely Plum so that you can summon Expurely Noir. Unfortunately for these purely players, if they're going for any rank 1 monster or link 2 monster, they're pretty much always playing into Nibiru. And the reason for that is because you need 3 summons to get into your rank 1 monster, and you also need 2 summons to get Expurely Plum, so if the Expurely Noir is going to be summon number 6, you can actually get Nibiru'd before that. With that being said, Nibiru can also end up doing absolutely nothing against Purely. So either they directly summon Expurely Noir in 3 summons by going into a Plump and then the Noir by just activating a bunch of spell cards and attaching them underneath, or they don't give a flying fuck about Nibiru and they just do whatever they want, but at the same time with the continuous spell and the field spell, so that even if they eat that Nibiru, they go like +5. If a Purely Xyz monster leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can trigger the continuous spell to recycle back 3 quick play spells from your grave, and also the field spell to revive back a level 1 Purely, and either get a search or an excavate. That's kind of like activating Regeki against a board full of Yangzing monsters. Doesn't really feel like it achieves anything. So yeah, in other words, Nibiru is good against the bad players, but pretty bad against the good players. Now, how about Super Heavy Samurai? It's extremely tricky because they can actually summon a Baron de Fleur very early on, and they can also make it unaffected by Imperm, Veiler, and other things if they do the right thing. With that being said, this can only be done with the right extra deck and under the right context. Because of the fact that the standard Super Heavy Samurai combo can branch off into 2 combos, it's really difficult to visualize. But don't worry, my friend, this is where I'm here to help you out. As you can see on this first replay, I have my 1-card starter as well as a discard, and I have to play around a Nibiru. I proceed to rush Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon because it is the key to summoning a Baron de Fleur as early as possible. My opponent attempts to Nibiru me on the revival of Bike, but I chain Axel Synchro to tag out into Stardust Dragon and try to quick sync into Baron de Fleur. So any synchro monster summoned by the quick effect of Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon is unaffected by my opponent's activated effects, meaning that the Baron de Fleur doesn't actually die, only my Link 1 monster goes away. And again, because of the fact that I'm unaffected by my opponent's activated effects, even if my opponent had something like Nibiru and Imperm, it still wouldn't be that good. At this point on, the combo is pretty much the same except for 3 small little details. First of all, I no longer control the Link 1 Super Heavy Samurai monsters, so my combo line has to take a different direction. Second, my opponent controls Nibiru on the field, which is a powerful monster that can threaten my Baron de Fleur, so I need to take care of it as early as possible. And finally, I have an annoying token blocking my zone and also preventing Clifford Genius from showing how smart he is. I could pop my token with Baron de Fleur, but that would actually leave the Nibiru alive, and I don't really want that. My goal is to make 5 negates preferably, and also take care of that Nibiru so that by the time it gets to my opponent's turn, I have 5 interruptions for their 5 cards. And considering the fact that this is only a 1-card combo with 1 discard, so I still have 3 other cards in my hand, I cracked the code and managed to pull off the full combo through Nibiru, and victory is mine. Now the second combo is very similar, the only difference is that this time my opponent Nibiru's me before I get the chance of reviving back the Bike, so that on the resolution, the only thing that's left on the field is the Bike. This means I can completely forget about Baron de Fleur, and I still have to deal with the Nibiru as well as the annoying-ass token blocking me. But of course, when there is a will, there is a way. The right thing to do is link off that token so that I can make an Asa, because I can't even use the token for Appaloosa anyways. And of course, outing the Nibiru can be achieved using the really handy effect of Champion Sargass. Not only is it searching a Regulus, which is a free negate on top of a free recursion with a Soul Piercer, but also whenever I use the effect of Gear Gigant X to search my 2 monsters, I can also trigger the Sargass in order to bounce or destroy any card on the field. So I managed to end on 4 negates, which is 3 negates Appaloosa as well as a Regulus through the Nibiru, and I also have 2 draws with a Tunneler, which is really good in case I dig into hand traps. And again, this is just a 1-card combo, so if I had like any other extender, I would also be able to play through some other hand traps. And even if I get a hand trap like 3 times, it's really not the end of the world because I can still hard make a Baguska, and it's really hard to out a Baguska with only like 3 cards in your hand. So at the end of the day, I would actually recommend you to stay away from Nibiru because it might not necessarily be the best against the meta at the current moment. Even against Kashtira and Sprite, it's not that good because against Kashtira, they can make an Arise Heart and 4 summons, and against Sprite, they can turbo out Gigantic or Red to negate the Nibiru or prevent it from being activated altogether. Droll is much more of a turn skipper against Super Heavy Samurai, and even Ghost Ogre is better against the deck, honestly. And believing that you'll always draw Nibiru and like the perfect hand trap to stop your opponent is a weak mindset. You have to be pessimistic instead. Assume the worst case scenario and prepare yourself for the worst, but hope for the best. Anyways, that's all I had to say for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also let me know your thoughts about Nibiru in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.